Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of 7-Minute Sermons. I am Carrington Brown, and let's go ahead and get started. So today, where we're going to be in the Bible is Mark chapter 8, verses 22 through 25. And so this is what it says. When they arrived at Bethsaida, some people brought a blind man to Jesus, and they begged him to touch the man and heal him. Jesus took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the village. Then, spitting on the man's eyes, he laid his hand on him and asked, "Can you see anything now?" The man looked around. "Yes," he said, "I see people, but I can't see them very clearly. They look like trees walking around." Then Jesus placed his hand on the man's eyes again, and his eyes were open. His sight was completely restored, and he could see everything clearly. Jesus sent him away, saying, "Don't go back into your village on your way home." And so the message that I want to give you guys today would be titled, Getting Clarity About Your Clarity. Once again, getting clarity about your clarity. So in this scripture, in this passage, we see a man who was blind, right? And with him being blind, he had some people bring him to Jesus because they knew Jesus was a healer. They knew Jesus worked in supernatural power. And so they went to Jesus because they believed that Jesus was the answer to the blindness, that Jesus could heal this man and bring his eyesight back. And so the first thing that Jesus did was he took the man, spit on the man's eyes, and then laid his hands on him, and then laid his hands on him and then asked him, "Can you see anything?" Right? So mind you, Jesus knew his power. Jesus knew what he had the ability to do. And so he spit on the man's eyes, put his hands on him, and he asked him, "Can he see?" I believe that this was a test. I believe that it was a test. And so when when the guy looked, he said, "Yes, I see people, but I can't see them very clearly." Right? And that leads me to my first point, which is this: getting 50% clarity or better clarity is not clarity, right? A lot of times we'll find ourselves in situations to where a situation will get better, but it still won't be what we desire, right? It'll progress, but it's still not what we desire. It'll be enhanced, but it's still not what we desire. And oftentimes we'll make the mistake of settling for better when God said, "I desire to give you my best." We'll settle for better rather than settling for what we actually want, because in our minds, we don't feel like, hey, I'm worthy enough, I'm deserving enough, I'm valuable enough to get exactly what I want when you actually do. So you have to understand that when you have clarity about what you want and you really want what you desire, 50% better, right? 75%, 85, even 99% better is not acceptable. Why? Because it's not actually what you want. And in order to get the clarity that you want, you have to keep working, keep grinding, keep doing, and keep expecting to get the clarity that you want. So once again, first point is getting 50% of clarity is not really getting clearly. Second point, once again, is this, second point is this, better and good enough should not be acceptable when you have a vision, right? So the man in this passage, he desired vision, right? He desired to be able to see. He desired to be at a place to where he can recognize human beings. He can know where he's walking, and he can live life as an individual, not always needing assistance, not always needing help. And that's where a lot of us are. A lot of us are in situations where, because we're not trained up or prepared or equipped in specific areas, we always have to have people around us. We always have to have people with us in order to get done what we need to get done, because we don't have the ability or the capabilities to do it and get it done by ourselves. But we have to understand that better is never acceptable, right? Even when you're dealing with Jesus, right? Because when the man said, when Jesus asked him, "Hey, can you see anything?" And he said, the man looked around, said, "Yes, but I see people. I see people, but I can't see them very clearly. They look like trees." When Jesus asked that question, that man could have easily said, "Yes, I can see," right? I can't see clearly 100%, but I do see better. The men look like trees, but I still see better than I did before. And once again, we have to understand that when we have clarity about our desires, when we have clarity about what we want, when we truly have the vision for our desires, we cannot accept better. We only can accept what we want because you're deserving of it. And God gave you authority to be in a position to be able to have whatever it is that you want, right? Third point is this. Third point is, in order to get what you want, you have to be willing to stand firm in your belief and your expectation, right? Once again, even if that's against Jesus. Because when Jesus asked the man, can you see anything? The man looked around and said, yes, but I see people, but I don't see them clearly. They look like trees walking around. Then Jesus placed his hands on the man's eyes again, and his eyes were open. His sight was then completely restored, and he could see everything clearly. So initially when Jesus did that, he could see clearer, but he couldn't see everything clearly. But because when Jesus presented the question, and I know it had to be some inner dialogue. When Jesus presented the question, the man could have easily once again said yes. But instead he said, I see better, but I don't see clear. Right. I have more clarity, but I don't have true 100% clarity. Right. And so because he was honest with Jesus, because he was transparent with Jesus, because he was real with Jesus, said, hey, this is better, but this isn't what I wanted. This is better, but I want to be able to see clearly. Yes, I can see my vision is enhanced, but it's still not 100% what I desire to be. Because he was willing to put himself in that position to actually say that to Jesus, Jesus said, okay, I got you. Right? Spit again, covered his eyes again, and he was then able to see clearly 100%. It said his sight was restored and he could see everything clearly. Beautiful people, understand this. You are in a situation, in a season right now where you are desiring clarity. You are desiring direction. You are desiring God to give you or bless you with something in its fullness. And some of y'all are doing it right now as it pertains to you're settling for better. You're settling for progression. You're settling for enhancement. You desire a relationship with a phenomenal individual, and you're settling for just somebody that's giving you attention. You're an individual that desires to make a certain amount of money, but you're settling for this amount of money with your job when God has gifted you to do things outside of your job and to match up that income to actually reach that goal. You cannot settle. Once again, you cannot settle. Third time, you cannot settle. When you ask God for something, when you're desiring something, that you're seeking something, you have to be willing to go and ask and request and go and ask and request and be honest, open, and transparent with God until you get that desired end that you actually want. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again to this segment of 7-Minute Sermons. I hope that it blessed you, and I hope that it inspired you to actually get 100% full clarity, right? 100% full job, career, business, relationship, joy, peace, love, happiness. Get it 100% rather than just better. If you don't already, follow me on all social media platforms. I'm at TheCarringtonBrown. Click the like button, subscribe, and share this video to somebody that you may believe that may be in need of hearing this message. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.